I don't mind raising this child apart, but alone, it's what I feared. And he came in, and then he saw what he saw. He came down. When he held me, I knew that he had passed on. The problem that I've seen with that whole thing where the mother tells the son what to do, it's because they feel or they fear that the stepmom might be a better mom than them.
Hello, I'm Miranda and welcome to Parenting a Stepchild, a family show where we speak shared experiences about step parenting in hard honesty and hope. Today, I got my sister. I'm going to call her my sis because we've been on that sis tip, you know. She goes by the name of Kuhle Mabaso. Welcome.
Thank you.
And she's gorgeous, isn't she? Red and black.
Listen,
Coming to slay. How are you, Mama?
I'm well, and you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for taking the time to come through here and just share your experience, which is very much needed in this day and age, right?
Yes. You're welcome.
All right, so let's get into it because there's a lot that we need to unpack. And your story is very powerful because you're coming from step parenting as a child and as an adult. So just to start, take us a little bit through your family journey and how did it come about that you had a step parent?
Okay, so my mom had 4 kids, right? One is my late brother. I'm the only girl, and I've got 2 older brothers. We all have our own different dads. Unfortunately, I don't know my dad. And as I was growing up, it was me and my mom and my brothers until around 2003. My mom met this white man. She loves them white, guys. She loves them white.
That's her time.
And then that's how my stepdad came into my life. He was in my life until 2017 when he passed away. So my stepdad didn't have other kids. Wow. So basically I was his child. And trust me, when he said, this is my child, they didn't see that like I'm not his child because we look alike. He's a white man and I am a mixed. My real father, my mom says he was Portuguese. I don't know him. So I'm a mixed breed. So you see, if my mom is black and my dad is white, my stepdad, it's possible that I'm his child, but I wasn't his child.
And did your mom have that conversation with you? Like, okay, Kuhle, this is the man that I love and this is going to be your stepfather. Or it was never the conversation because you know how it can be as Africans, right?
Yeah, so my mom did have a conversation with me to say this is the person that she's seeing. And of course, I think as a child, I just knew that this is my stepdad. Until we moved in. First, it used to be that visit. But then when we moved in together, like all of us, then I knew this was my stepdad. And he played that role.
At any point, did you feel like I need to accept him because, well, I don't have a dad anyway? Or it was easy for you because he really played his role very well?
So I think it was very easy for me to just accept him because I didn't have a father figure. So I don't know what a dad is. Do you understand? So for me, when this person came to play that role, I was just like, great, let me experience how it is to have a father. And that's how it just became natural. And the person that he was a kind man. So it was just easy, very easy.
So I take it, because sometimes when a child is introduced to a step parent, it's not easy to navigate, right? Especially if the biological parent is very much present. And there's always influences from the external or the biological parent. And since you, at that moment, well, you don't have a father and this is like your dad. When you introduce, because sometimes when it comes to introduction, is this like, this is my stepdad, or it's like, this is my dad. You know, you never had to feel the sense of step or bonus dad into the journey of growing up as a child.
So I think a lot of people did not know my dad or did not know my story. So I just said, this is my dad. And like I said, people believed that this is my dad. Only like my close friends, I would say, this is my stepdad, and I'd explain how he became my dad. But for me, the step didn't ring a bell. We are not raised like that, especially in the Zulu culture. You don't say step ubaba, umama. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that because this whole step, it's become such a popular term, terminology because step, and it's also shunned upon because why are you a stepfather? You're labeled as a simp.
Yeah, true.
Like, and people don't understand that most people, this generation that is raised up by stepfathers and stepmothers, but then you wouldn't be able to tell because the family is so blended well, and also it's a private thing, right?
True.
What did your father do into your childhood that made you realize, you know what, this is my stepfather and he played such a good role that now you've taken upon yourself as you grew up as an adult?
So, you see, with my stepfather, he played a big role in my life. Very supportive. He was one person that I actually could talk to than my mom.
Whoa.
This is my stepfather. I could talk to him more than my mom. I remember when I started my periods, I was just like, oh, I'm not telling my mother. Because my mom was strict. So I was like, my stepdad will be able to tell my mother. And that's how we were so close, And the role that he played, I mean, look at me. I'm a grown woman. I've got my own kids. I've got my own things. And I said to myself, if I ever become a stepmom, I'm going to play the same role that my dad did, no matter what. Because when my mom passed away, so my mom passed away first in 2011. And honestly speaking, this man had no reason to stay with us anymore, right? Because the one person that he came for was my mom. But this man continued where my mom left off until he passed away.
You were so blessed. Do you really understand the whole concept of what he has just done? Because it's so easy when the mother passes away and then like, oh, well, you're not my kid anyway, so why should I stick around and play father to you?
Yeah, you see, my I don't want to say my stepdad.
Yeah, it even feels weird, right?
He's my dad.
Your dad.
My dad, I think, when he said he loved my mom with her children till the end, that's what he meant. Through thick and thin, that's what he meant. Because it showed after my mother passed away. He was there for me. He encouraged me to go to university. He was still supporting me, giving me money to travel and all of that. That's real love. That's unconditional love. I mean, that's why they say it takes a village to raise a child. You don't have to give birth to that child. It doesn't have to be your child. But if you've got that, I really care for the people that are in my area or the people in my life, yeah, you will go far.
Wow. It's really a few stories like yours that we get to hear because we hear horrific stories of when the mother passed on, the father sold the assets, got remarried to an evil stepmom. It's a lot.
Yeah. My stepdad, I think, and I'll be honest with you, he really loved my mom because I told him, I said, move on. You can find someone else. I don't have a problem. But you could see that no, man, he really, really loved my mom. And maybe he was worried if he gets someone else, how they're going to treat us. I don't know. Like, he's not here for me to ask him. But when I did ask him at the time, he was just like, it's not the time. And he was a biker. So he focused a lot on bikes. Over the weekend, he would go to his rallies and all of that. So I think that's how he was keeping his time or his mind busy. So I really, really had a good dad.
Sure. Till date, is he alive?
No, he passed away in 2017. Yeah. It was after I said, you know what? Retire now. You're almost 70. I'm going to look after you. And then he retired. And then he retired end of October. On the 10th of November, he had a sudden heart attack. I found him. And life is so weird. That day, I was going to soccer, well, the next day, and I had a busy soccer weekend. And I said to him, oh, I've got a busy weekend. He's like, no, I know, my baby. But that Friday, I slept home. When I woke up Saturday morning, my life was busy, but not the soccer. I had found my dad sitting on the floor. And I'm like, Jack, because we normally call him by name. I'm like, Jack. He didn't respond. And then I ran down. I went to go call a neighbor who was a cop, and he came in. And then he saw what he saw. He came down. When he held me, I knew that he had passed on. So, yeah, he's no
I'm
longer here, but
sorry for that.
yeah,
And he played such a great role.
an excellent one.
Excellent one that a few can only run the race of raising someone else's child who's not your own. And I really don't want to just move past it because, look, he raised you to become a phenomenal, gorgeous, amazing, intellectual woman. And then in return, you're the one who told him, you know what, retire. I will take care of you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in this society, it's more of people don't see the end goal. Yes, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of attitude, when it comes to raising someone else's child. But then do you really understand the magnitude of this role that you're playing? And you simply as a parent can raise a great somebody who will take care of you in your old age.
I think with my dad, he didn't expect me to do that.
That's the thing.
I did it, or I said what I said because of what he had done for me. I think also with me, when I raise people, or even my siblings' kids, I'm not raising them for them to pay me one day. No, I'm raising them so that they stand on their own. Should anything happen to me, they must be able to stand on their own. The same thing that my dad did to me. I'm able to stand on my own. I mean, I'm so young, but I'm an orphan. But I can stand on my own. You understand? That's what they taught me, that we will teach you what we can teach you so that when we're no longer here, you are able to continue on your own. I miss my parents, yes. But I am able to do things for myself.
Sure. I love your story, how it begun. And now you are an adult, you're ready to settle down as a grown woman.
Yeah.
You enter into a relationship. Take us through it. Do you have a child at that age, at the age that you're in, and then you meet someone who has a child or children? How does that pan out?
Hey, this life is very tricky. And I'll tell you the truth. As we grow older, you realize that every partner that you meet, one or two, might have kids, because it's just the stats that are there. A lot of people have kids out of wedlock. So when I met my partner, he had told me he had 2 boys. At the time, I didn't have a child. And I think I was about 31, 32, somewhere there. So I was like, okay, no problem.
How old are the children?
So at the time when I met him, the firstborn was 13 and the little one was 2.5 years. So
same mother.
Same mother. So
Okay.
That's his previous relationship, same mother. Both are boys, right? But when I met him, that they were not around, they were living with their mom, and he was living alone. And I was like, okay. And then I told him where I was in life, that I was looking for a dad for my child that I wanted. I didn't want a boyfriend because boyfriend come and go. I was looking for a dad that even if we do have a child, he will remain present, because I didn't have a dad. So he was like, no, I'll be that dad. And I was like, okay. And I saw how he was treating his kids, even though him and his the mother of his kids were no longer together, he was still there for his kids. So I knew that even if we don't make it out, my child will have his dad.
So that is the motivating factor for you to enter into this relationship.
It was to make sure that, of course, I love him, right? But like I said, love does end somewhere.
And it's not enough.
You
Let's be real.
But for me, I wanted to have a child. I was at that age. I mean, I was already 30 something and I wanted to have this child. But what I was afraid of is raising this child alone. I don't mind raising this child apart, but alone, it's what I feared. Because I didn't know my father and I don't know many stepdads that would do what my dad did. Right? Because I've got friends that had stepdads and it was bad, right?
Sure.
So I didn't want that for my son or my child or my daughter, whatever. I didn't want that for my child. I was like, I need to have a conversation upfront with the person so that we know if we're on the same pages. If we're not, bye-bye. It is what it is. I ain't having a kid with you. That was me.
Okay, and then you agree, you move in together, right, with the two boys at that time, or no?
No. So remember the boys staying with their mom? They in KZN, like Peter Maritzburg.
Yeah.
And he's based in Joburg. So we moved in together. It's still honeymoon phase. During our honeymoon phase, babies is made. Because that's what we said.
Yes.
We're not going to waste time and say we're waiting for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We made a baby. Find out that we're pregnant. Great. Push the 9 months. And then I give birth to a baby boy. And I'm like, okay.
You're already blessed with boys, aren't you?
Yeah. But can I tell you, I always wanted to have a boy.
Okay.
My first child as a boy. Because my mentality is like, he's not going to leave me. Even if he gets married, the makoti comes to us. Unlike the girl leaving me.
That was so strategic.
What? Unlike the girl leaving me, you know? So God listens, guys. Hey. Unkulunkulu uyalalela. I got a baby boy.
Wow.
So I've got 1 child currently and 2 that are my partners, which makes it 3. So for a year, we lived with the one, the last born. And then last year, we then fetched the firstborn.
What was the reason for that? I mean, they could have just stayed with the mother.
So initially, I didn't want just one child to come. I wanted both of them to come. The reason was I wanted them to grow in one household, to see their father. Their father is a busy man, let me call it that. He's very busy. So he only gets to see his kids when? In December. Right? Sometimes he tries and calls them, he doesn't get through and all of that. So I thought, no, man, these boys are growing up, they need their father. So they might as well come and live with us. And also at the time, I'm not sure of the story, but it seems like mom wasn't around and they were living with aunties. So I think that's what made me say, no, they might as well come. If mom is not around doing other things, they might as well come to live with us. But at the time when the conversation was happening, mom was back. And then the old one, we decided that he'll rather come up so that we can assist him with school because his school marks were not great. So I picked up that there was a gap there. So I said, no, he must come up. Then mom agreed that one must come, one must stay. And that's how it was, or it is currently.
You have such a beautiful heart. How many would actually decide that, you know what, let the child come or the children stay with us?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, eh? Right?
Not a lot.
And even if they do come, there's a lot that can go wrong. Like witchcraft, you know, bad behavior, not bad behavior, but bad treatment, abuse.
There's a lot. I think for me, I wasn't even thinking all of those things. I just thought, so my partner really loves his kids, really loves his kids. And I think with him, if he could, he would have all of his kids next to him, right? But because of circumstances and situations that we find ourselves in, things are not like that, right? So we deal with what we can deal with at the time.
So now, what is the hardest part of having these 2 children that you have to take care of, bearing in mind that someone also took care of you?
I think the hardest thing, you know what? The hardest thing is because these kids, they know for a fact that I'm not their mom. That makes it a bit of a challenge. They are raised, when they're with their mother, they are raised in a certain way, certain rules. And when they decide, there are certain rules and all of that. It makes it very, very challenging. You know, I look at the old one that is currently staying with us. When he came into my life or living with me, because when I first met them, I went down and we met them and it was all cool. And I think it was just because we're at the restaurant and doing fun things. But now reality hits in when you're staying with them full time. I picked up habits that I was like, I don't like these, where he would lock himself in the room. And I'm like, what kind of child is this? Just sits there and stuff. Sometimes it's just like, hello and gone. And I was like, I don't do those in my house. In my house, we have open relationships. We are open and like that. We chill together. We watch TV together. So I started having conversations with him, but it was a challenge because of who he was or who he is.
And this was coming from obviously the characteristics or the behavioral norm from the mother's side, right?
So I'm not sure how he was raised that side. Maybe that side is the child that would lock himself up and all of that. I don't know that. But when he comes in, I see, not that he's not helpful. He is helpful, but there are certain things that I didn't want him to see me as this evil stepmother, where now he's hiding away from me because I'm watching TV. He must run into the room, or I'm in the kitchen. I didn't want that. Maybe it's something that he's used to on the other side. So I had to have that, because for me it was a challenge. How do I then begin to raise him to understand who he is if he's always locking himself in the room?
Did you have the conversation with him? Did you sit down like, these are the rules of the home? This is how we are as a family.
So his dad did that. So when he came to live with us, his dad told him the rules of the house. But of course, locking yourself is not a rule. You understand? You only pick it up later. It can't be a rule. Can't say don't lock yourself up in this house. It can't. So he told him the rules, and he told him the kind of person that I am. I've got OCD. I love a clean place. So I cannot, even their room, I don't sleep in that room, but I expect it to be clean. So he told him the kind of person that I am. I like certain things clean and all of that. And also I like certain things in a certain way. So if you find my cushions sitting in that way, just leave them that way. Don't rearrange them, right? So that's the kind of rules or whatever we had the conversation. So with this one, when I saw that it's bothering me, I sat him down and I said, my boy, what's happening? Why are you always closing yourself up? Why don't you sit with us? I mean, then he explained, this is what I am used to. This is what I did where I come from.
Sure. And that's very beautiful, because you actually had to sit down with him instead of assuming, because 1,000 things can go through your mind, like why this and that, you start overthinking it instead of just having a conversation and trying to understand, where does this come from? And for you or the father to have the conversation with him, right? Did you and the father sit down and like, okay, I don't like this. You be the one who speaks to him, or naturally it just happened that I will take care of this one because he's my blood.
In the household, does a man ever do that? No,
Well,
men don't think like that. Honestly speaking, you have to sit down with him and let him know. So I did sit down with him and I said to him, we have to explain how the house rules or whatever happens, or the chores even, how it's done in our house, right? But in this case, because usase musha, I need to also learn him. Remember, he's a stranger to me. I don't know this person.
And the same
And the worst is that he's coming in at what? I think it was about 15. Yeah, it was about 15, which is last year, right? He's coming in at that stage. I'm a teenager. So I don't know what I'm dealing with. And I've never raised a person like that. I mean, yes, my nephew, I raised him, but that's my nephew. I grew up with him. He's a stranger. I am a stranger. I'm not his mother. I am his father's partner. You understand? So we sat down and had the conversation, and then he called him and had the conversation. Also, there's times where if I felt like he left a mess, I felt like I couldn't reprimand him because he's not my child. I don't want him to go back to his mom or his grannies and say, oh, Mom Kuhle did this, that, Then it looks like I'm not treating him right. His dad sat down with him and said, This is how it was going to work in my house. And if Mam Kuhle has a problem, she will reprimand you as a child.
And those are the boundaries that you set in place, because with the clips that we post on TikTok, right? A lot of them are like, why do you even have boundaries for kids? Do you not have boundaries for anything in life? Because that's very important. They need to know that they can't cross this boundary, and this is how we behave as a teenager going into adulthood, right?
Boundaries are very important because if you don't have them, you'll be a yes, no, and you won't be able to express how you feel. So with my partner, he knows what my boundaries are with his kids, with you understand, with his other kids. Even my small son, he'll grow up knowing mommy's boundaries are this. You can't push as much as you can push. So boundaries are important. Whether it's in your relationship, whether there must be boundaries.
How easy was it to accept him? And what does patience look like? Or what did it look like when he came through?
To accept the kids, both the kids, as much as the other one's not staying with us, I think it was an easy thing for me because I was raised by a stepdad. So it came naturally. I was like, okay, this is okay. I don't have a problem, right? I think the problem then starts when he's here, then you start experiencing certain behavior and you're like, I don't know how to cope with this one. Because I look at myself in reference. I don't bother my stepdad. Now, when this one's behaving like this, I'm like, what do I do in this situation? But of course, my partner is there. We sit down and we normally have the conversation of how to discipline the kids, whether it's through punishment, certain punishment, no treats for you, those kind of things. They used to wash cars and then we pay them. So what I would do, deduct. If you naughty, if you left the toilet dirty, minus 50 rand fine. That's what I call them, fines, because I'm also teaching them responsibility, that you can't just do things that are wrong and think it's okay. Every action has its consequence, whether it's a good one or a bad one, but it does have.
And then in you raising this phenomenal gentleman, right? Is the biological mother still alive? And does she have any negative or positive influence in what you're trying to build?
So she's still alive. She's currently staying with the middle child. According to me, she's had some kind of influence, but because I'm saying when this child came, there was a certain way he was seeing me. That's why I'm saying he would close himself. So he probably saw like this monster. Hey, step-parents, because probably he was told that. You understand? Only the person, when he started staying with us for the longest time, then he started seeing the person that I am. I've got an open heart. I'm very kind. I care for him. Listen, I'm the one that worries about him than his father. And I'm not saying his father doesn't worry. He does. But because he's such a busy man, he knows that, you know what? My partner, my wife, she'll take care of the kids. All of them, including the one that's not around. I am the one that's involved in the child's school things, making sure school fees is paid, transport is paid, transferring food money to the mom. I do that. My partner just sends and is out. I do the breakdown. What needs to do this? What needs to do this for the kids? That's what I do.
On the radio, it's a hot topic, also on social media, that, I don't want to be dealing with the wife. I didn't make the child with the wife. I'm supposed to be dealing with the father. Did you have such moments, and how did you navigate it?
No, we do. I still do currently, and I'm still trying to navigate them. So in our house, we have our own rules. One of our rules is, I am the mother of the house. I am going to make sure that whatever the kids needs, it's met. He is the father of the house. He provides for us. So he's going to make sure that the money is there. That is our rule. So now he has kids outside. Who must step in? Me. How it even got there, he used to do it prior. Because he was dealing with the grind at the time. So he would do. Then mom was back. Now, mom and dad have their own differences. So I'm not going to let my man be angry because baby mama said things on the phone that were not nice. So I said, I'll step in. I don't have a problem with her. I've never had a problem with her. I'm not the reason why they broke up. I don't know why they broke up. that is on them. I am here for the kids. What the kids need, the kids will get. So I had the problem. So when we spoke, she said she'd never had a problem with me. It's cool, she'll deal with me. And we were dealing, talk at phone, find out about the child. But the problem is that sometimes we couldn't get hold of the child, and it becomes a problem. And then I'd voice it out, and then it was phone this, phone that, whatever. Until we had an altercation where she demanded money on the spot. And I said, doesn't work like that in this household. And I told her prior, we plan things. Tell us whatever you need for the child so that month end, I can make sure you have everything. No, I think she was trying to frustrate me. And it didn't work. So I said to her, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Tell the dad. The dad's like, no, we're not doing that. We cannot do that. So she then said she'll never deal with me on message. She'll never deal with me. She will deal with my father-in-law and all of that. And my man was just like, my father-in-law called and whatever. Then my man told my father-in-law to say, in this household, my wife is going to deal with all the kids' needs, all of them, which I still continue today. So I don't know if she has a phone or not because her phone's broken. I just do what I need to do. When I need to transfer the money, I just transfer. Whether she gets it or she doesn't get it, I have done my part. I pay the school directly. I pay the transport directly. Now, we're busy buying him clothes for winter. When the other one goes home, we'll take the clothes.
Wow. I salute your husband. I do, because the stories that we've heard so far, also with our guests, I think the main challenge has been not getting support from the father. If anything, they protect the child, they feel that you are being mean or unreasonable for whatever reason, even though what you're saying or you're raising a valid point, right? So for him to actually man up and say, my wife takes care of this and this, and it's final. Like, you didn't even flinch or move because, no, man, now I'm talking to father-in-law or this and that. I need to pick sides. He chose you and the family. And how does that make you feel knowing that you do have that support from him?
The support that I get from him is amazing because I know that if we speak the same language, it is the same language, Yes, I get it. Yeah, I don't want to speak to the wife. I don't want to speak to this. But at this point, it has nothing to do about the wife. The who. It has to do about the well-being of the child. I think that's where we confuse it as stepmoms or as baby mamas or whatever. It has nothing to do with us. It has to do with the child. Whether you talk to me, whether you talk to my husband, whether you talk to my father-in-law, it does not matter. What matters, if the child needs food, the money is there. That's it. So it's always bitter people that say that. I find it like that because it doesn't matter. If you're getting the money from the wife, then what? What? Because sometimes you don't know what challenges they're facing in the house. You understand? And I've read, or I was seeing on TikTok, a lot of women were saying, and I was happy. A lot of women said, I prefer to deal with the wife because that's the person that looks after my child when the child goes. Like now, this child in December comes to us. Who must look after the child? The same wife.
Right.
That you don't want to talk to.
Right.
And then you don't know how your child is. Come on, guys. Talk to the wife. I'm not saying be friend. Hi, this mutual respect is important. And what is very important? The child. Let's not forget the important part in this is the child.
Do you want to be like an advocate maybe for stepmothers? Because I really love the setup that you have. And I love how you just call things into order. Like, it doesn't have to be dramatic. Why are you being dramatic?
We're not, having the fights, it affects the children. We just don't see it. You understand? Because you, as the other party, as a biological mother, you say to your son or your child, Moya lapa, you must, don't do this, don't call her mom, don't do this, don't do this. Then the child gets there, dad says, this is your stepmom, this is what. Now it's very difficult. Like my man told my stepkids to call me Mam Kuhle. So they will never call me Kuhle.
The respect
You
has to be
understand?
there because I take
So
care
with
of
me,
you.
I don't mind if they call me Mam Kuhle. I don't have a problem, or they call me Kuhle, or whatever they call me. I don't have, as long as they're gonna respect me. That's the most important thing. But the problem that I've seen with that whole thing where the mother tells the son what to do, it's because they feel or they fear that the stepmom might be a better mom than them. That's what I think.
Drops mic. That's a golden nugget of wisdom. Absolutely. And kids see that for themselves. I mean, they have a brain. They grow up to become adults and they're like, no man, but my mom said this and that about Umam Kuhle. But then the way I experienced her, she's loving, she's kind. She made me to be the man that I am today. And kids will always see the difference. Always.
That's why I'm saying, if it's still small, you can play around with it. But the older they get, they see the truth, and that's what matters. That they eventually will see the truth, and that's why I don't like my kids picking sides. I don't, because I don't want them one day to be like, oh, my mom used to say bad things. No, no, no. I just pray that it's just mutual respect, and that's it. So that they'll say, you know, when I was at Mam Guhle, I was raised well, but even when I was at my mom, I was raised well.
You tell me, what do you feel or you wish people could understand, not even people, step parents could understand better in society when it comes to raising a stepchild? Because you coming from a place of being, taken care of by a step parent, and you are also a step parent. So what are the misconceptions that people don't understand? Is it the patience? You need to have patience, or they don't have to love you? Because sometimes ladies will feel like they must love me. There has to be like that immediate love. We need to connect immediately.
You'll never connect immediately because you are raising a stranger. And this is a person, I mean, you see where it connects immediately. If this child from birth, you're raising them because they grow up knowing, you understand? But if this child, say kulile, and they come in your life, it's not. You just have to be very patient. You have to be very understanding, but communication is important. And I'm not talking about other parties and other household, because I can never control what's there. You control what is inside your household. And it's a conversation. You see, blended families are a problem because we tend to not see that the minute one comes with their own kids and you come, it's all a blended family. You have to sit down and say how it's going to work for us. So the misconceptions is step parents, whether it's a man, whether it's a lady, they're evil. They don't like because it's not that. You can love someone's children without even giving birth to them because of who you are and what you want for your household. Which man, honestly speaking, which man will take a lady that doesn't want his kids? That guy is going to leave, Mos. They'll be like, she doesn't like my kids. But if the man says, no, it's fine, you love my child, but I prefer my child to stay with their mom, you understand? He's still supporting you to say, I understand you want, but the best of the child currently, what is best for the child? That's what I'm saying. We just confuse it with our emotions, our fights, and that's it. That's where we confuse it. Instead of saying, I understand, I'm angry at this person, how he hurt me and stuff. But what is important for my child at this point?
But one would say it's so challenging for me. It's so hard. You have no idea. I'm dealing with the biological mother or the father. In fact, let's not exclude them because they could also be the problem, right? I'm dealing with them. I'm dealing with a spouse who doesn't support me. And I really need his support. He doesn't even protect me when I am being disrespected by his child. Have you encountered that maybe? And how did you deal with it?
No, I haven't. I think my partner is very strict, very, very strict. And I think he's raised his sons to be very respectful. So I've never had an encounter where he was disrespectful towards me. I've had small issues where he doesn't clean up there and there. I mean, he's a boy. Boys do that. So I also believe in therapy a lot. We Black people don't like therapy. We think going to therapy is a waste of time.
It's a white
and
thing.
guess what? And I'll say this: blended families definitely need therapy. The kids need therapy because of the movements. They're moving from one household to the next. You understand? Because even now, if anything happens to us and he goes into another household, he needs to have that therapy because it might not be like how Mam Gutle's house was. Therapy is very important. I think that's where we're missing. In therapy, they will have a whole session with everyone and then break it down to individual. Having a supportive partner, whether it's the lady, because also ladies come with kids. Then they become stepkids to the guy, and that's why I'm saying currently going forward in the next coming years, a lot of people are going to be step parents to a child because it's the stats of South Africa. We are just having babies, things don't work out, people get divorced. Are you going to stop life after divorce? No. If you find love and you find the guy doesn't have kids and you bring in 3, you expect that guy to love your kids, right?
Right.
He becomes a stepdad. But because he doesn't know it, therapy is important. So he's taught these things. Therapy, they teach things.
I love that you touched onto therapy because you can't just pray it away. Let's take it holistically, right? Also, families do not help because they tend to pick sides unless you're dealing with a very wise, mature person who can be neutral and help with the solution. If maybe therapy is it's costing money, family perhaps. Did you guys have any family support? And if so, who played that role in terms of I can run to maybe my father-in-law or my mother-in-law and so forth to handle this?
So in my case, my mother-in-law also passed away. So we've got our father-in-law. I think my father-in-law is such a wise man, guys. A very, very wise man, because he's able to understand. He doesn't pick sides, by the way. He hears your side, he understands you, he hears another side and he understands it. And then it's always about who we're talking about. So we've had also an altercation with my baby mama called my father-in-law, and that's how it was. And my father-in-law heard her side, heard my side, but what remained was the best interest of the child. So we went to him, but we've also done a bit of counseling on our own. Even the child is currently doing his own counseling.
Yeah, so it's really hard for some. It's not that easy. People are going through depression. People are having heart attacks. People having anxiety attacks because where do I go? I don't have the family support. I can't go for therapy. I don't have a good spouse. Again, I'm dealing with a horrible biological parent. How would you advise that person? Because I know every case is different. Every situation is different. And you're not in that person's shoes. But I do understand that holistically, you are a step parent and this is a stepchild. Surely there is one main idea or one main solution that could work towards making things better, at least slightly better.
I would not know how to advise someone. I'm being honest with you, because like you said, every scenario has its own challenges. I could say to them, learn to be patient, but for how long? That would be the question they would ask me. I don't know. I always say prayer is very important. You align yourself with God, whether you believe in God, ancestors, or all of the above. But guidance, you will find it. You will know. Because for me to tell you how to do it, it might not work for you right now. Yes, I've had my challenges in my own household. I might seem speaking like it's all nice and stuff. No, it hasn't. It has its challenge where I was disciplining the child. I was feeling like I couldn't really reprimand him. That is a challenge for me. But I prayed and I said to myself, if the father could understand where I'm coming from and see what I want him to see, and it's for the best interest of the child. That's what I was praying. when we started having conversations, because he was not just supportive. He didn't just say, I'm supporting you in anything. No, some things he wasn't seeing them. I had to point them out, and then he was understanding from my shoes. And I told him how difficult it is from my shoes. So it's quite tricky to advise people because we are in different household. What works for me might not work for you. Therapy might not even work for you. Talking to someone else might not even work for you.
Right. Yeah.
But listen to your heart. Pray, manifest in things that you want.
You touched on it wasn't quick. Like I'm bringing it to your attention. This is what's going on. It wasn't like, okay, I get it. How long was it for you? How is the patience span for you from the time you encountered what you encountered, having to address it with the father, and actually it being, you can see like, no, I see progress. We're actually getting somewhere here.
It took about 6 months. It took about 6 months because January I had challenges. February I was having challenges. I was raising them. I was getting to a point where I was frustrated. And I even said, I don't think this is for me. I know I can't.
Were you ready to quit?
I was ready to quit because I looked at the one, like I said, he's busy. He comes back late and stuff. I have to supervise this child, make sure his homework is done, do this, do that. So and now you are not supporting me. I thought, what is it for? Maybe I must just focus on my little one and he'll focus on the old one, you know. And I was telling him how I'm frustrated because sometimes we'd sit down and have a conversation and then he says he will have it. Then he doesn't have it. And also, he has the conversation, but alone. You understand? And then I don't know what conversation they had. Like, did he really reprimand him? Or did he say, hi, ungayenzi lokho? You know? So conversations, if we have them all together, we sit together in the same place and we all talk as a family. We have family time where we talk. Even now with my stepson, we sit down when he comes back from school on a random day. I say, how are you? How are you feeling? How is it been? What are you worried about? What are you stressing about? And that's when I picked up that he really needed therapy because he told me what's bothering him and stuff. And I said, right now, there are things that you can control in life and there are things that you can't control. Being in this house, you can control it. You can say to your dad, I don't want to be here. I want to go to my mom. But having me in your life and my son, you can't control that because I'm here to stay. My son is here to stay. So that you can't control. So we've got a good relationship. Our relationship, it has taken a year. So this year, it's where the new beginnings. He's able to open up. He's able to talk to me. Last year, it took 6 months for my partner to understand where I was coming from. And I think he then only understood because I am the primary parent because I have time. I'm more flexible at work than he is. I mean, I have to fetch this child from school. You understand? So if you're not going to understand me, then I'm just like, hey, yes, I did want to quit. I did. I won't lie. But God saved us because he was able to go into my man's head and help him understand.
Yazin, put in a couple of screws in there and their wisdom.
We don't agree most of the time or the same things. I mean, we've got our differences on how to raise kids and stuff. But like I said, we've sat down and spoken. This is how we want to raise our children and this is how we're going to do. Like now, whatever my son gets, if I go to the shops and go buy my son clothes, example, winter clothes, definitely the other one that's down there, we're going to buy him. And then the old one, you know how they are, they like to choose their own thing. So he'll just say, hi, Mom, I want to buy from where and where. And I'm like, okay, boy, we'll buy. And that's it.
For the fact that you're still step parenting means you're doing a great job. Hey,
it's still tough because we are cool. He's coming with changes now. You know, he's now turning 17 this year. Yeah, you know, he's got friends. I mean, yesterday he went out. He says he went to the movies. He says he watched Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson started 1:30, 3:30 they were done. I was like, okay, cool. And when I go check on Google, this movie is 2 hours. Which Michael Jackson was he watching?
Right.
So this morning I said to him, hey, bruh, I don't know what Michael Jackson you're watching. And then he laughed because he knew I caught him out, you know. And his dad did, because his dad told me, said, I told him, I said, hey, you can shaya me, bruh. But I've been in that age. I know exactly what's happening. And I said, no, leave him. He went to the movies. Let's just leave him. He went to the movies.
Look at that. But another parent would be like, hey, Wena, who do you think you are? You know, it would have turned ugly.
Oh, yeah, cool. He's going to make mistakes. You understand? Yes, there are mistakes that he's going to make that are not nice and stuff. I have conversation with him. This morning I had conversation with him. I said to him, every action that you do has a consequence. So you might think you making us fools, but it has a consequence, because when we do find out, trust will be broken. And when trust is broken, it's really hard to fix it. It takes time to fix it. So I'm not saying don't go out with your friends, but be truthful. No, I didn't go watch movies. I went out and I had lunch and I did this and I did that. That's it. You don't have to stick to, No, we went and we realized the movies are expensive or whatever it is. So I'm teaching him also to take accountability and to take everything that he says. He knows that if I lie and I get caught, this is going to happen, because even not only in this household, even when he goes to his mom, he probably says this one or two things, I'm shy. And we parents sometimes don't pay attention to certain things, So it is what it is.
It is what it is. And the relationship between your biological child with the stepchildren, how is it? Is it good?
I think it's very good with the old one, because uhlala nathi. They've got a good relationship, and he's so good with his baby brother. The middle one, I think he didn't understand it when we first met. My dad has another child, because I'm the last, But he loves him, Shem. He loves him, play with him, hugs him, when they call each other, hello, Zeko, how are you? I don't know, I think he has a perception that my child speaks English, but they speak a lot of English. They've got a thing. It's just quite sad that he's not around, where they could build a stronger bond. So the old one has a stronger bond with the middle one, has a stronger bond with the young one. But I still pray that one day he'll be able to come live with us so that they can have a good sibling bond. But they get along.
Wow. I really love your story. And I really love that we've touched on the positive and obviously the little challenges here and there. But for the fact that yours is so powerful, because it reflects that there is hope.
No, there is hope.
It's not all doom and gloom, even though it may seem like it in that moment. But when you look in the, at the end of the tunnel, there is hope.
I hope, like I said earlier on, all parties that are involved in this step parenting a child, whether stepdad, stepmom, mom, dad, we all think for a moment to say what is best for the child. I think we would then be able to have that positive stories, because if I'm a stepmom and the biological mom has the same goals for the child, nothing will go wrong, because we both want certain things for the child. We have the same goals. The minute our goals are not aligned, we will always have challenges.
And I would like for you to talk to, the social medias. Don't date a stepchild. What's this? Don't date a stepmom. Am I even saying it right? Okay, don't date someone
who has a child.
Because you're going to end up being a step parent. And I really hate that, narrative that's being pushed. Because there are really great mothers, stepmothers like yourself out there who can make a great impact. But because now so much of social media is telling you, do not, there are red flags, I don't know what they think of such amazing women like yourself. Yes, we understand they're the horrible ones. We get it. We're not talking about them. We're talking about women like yourself. and how we should just refrain from not listening to all the social media jargon and nonsense that's out there.
One way or another, whether it's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, we will all be step parents. So it's going to happen because people are growing up. You'll find a few 35-year-old guys that have no kids. You'll find a few 35-year-old ladies have no kids. Huh?
Yeah.
Few. Matchy will be you have a child I don't have, or we have kids. Because even if we both have kids, we're still step parenting because you're bringing your kids, I am bringing my kids. It's a whole blended family. So we are still going to think. I always say, abona umuntu mamthanda. Uthanda yena neyinkinga zakhe. So if he's coming with burdens, you must carry those burdens. So as much as social media says, don't do that, it's always about what you want and listening to your heart. There are good step parents out there. There are bad step parents out there. And those that are not all bad, it's because they have internal issues. Once we all can think of the child, I'm 100% sure things will be okay.
Definitely. And wrapping it up, you said quite a lot. You've dropped a lot of wisdom nuggets. Is there anything on your part that you would like to say to encourage maybe, because you see what's happening. We're not like aloof. We can see what's happening. Maybe there's something that you would, in your heart, feel this could help someone who's watching and who's desperate for some sort of need and assistance, or words of comfort.
I would say to them, continue doing what you're doing for the sake of the child. Ipurpose yomntwana. Because if you yourself become an evil stepmom, imagine if the biological mother is also evil or doing things that are not nice. What's happening to that child?
Trauma.
We are ruining the child. That is why you find a lot of kids grow up, they are broken. They make kids have broken families because they know nothing that is good. So continue being the good person that you are. Do what you can do. And that's it. If the child decides when they're older, they don't want to be around you, it's okay. You were not doing it to gain anything. You were doing it to raise the child to be a better person for themselves. That would be my advice.
Kuhle, Mam Kuhle.
Hello.
Oh man,
Hello.
I love your heart. I love your mind. I love the maturity and the wisdom. And thank you so much for just coming and dropping it here, so that others can be liberated from whatever they're going through. And may God bless you on this journey. You're doing well. You're doing better than you think.
Thank you. I'm still trying. Still going to get more challenges as we grow. I mean, we're growing every day, but we'll get there. We will raise, the boys are, you want to raise good men out there.
Yes.
So I'll still do what I need to do.
And in her doing what she needs to do, you also need to do what you need to do. It's so important to play your part. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. And remember that Jesus loves you.